Previously on Alan Wake. Alan Wake, he is a writer. He writes horror stories. He has a wife, very lovable wife. He has writer's block, sad face. Wife says, you know what, get away from it all, let's have a vacation. Bad idea. Worst vacation ever, cause she gets kidnapped by an evil presence, and now Alan Wake has to go save her. Will he save her? Spoiler, he does. Let's commence with this game now. Now, this Alan Wake game actually starts off right after you saved your wife by pretty much trading places with her because she was in this evil, dark realm place that's evil and dark, and you traded places with her. Now you're in this, and your wife is safe, and you have to go and try to escape this evil world by fighting your evil doppelganger, who is named Mr. Scratch, who looks exactly like you, except he isn't exactly like you because he's freaking insane. I mean, this guy is insane. He just kills random people for no reason. He has a smile on his face all the time while he's doing that, and he's insane. I love this guy for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm insane too. The game doesn't have as compelling story as the first game, but that's to be expected for just a $15 like 3.5 hour download. You know, it's an arcade game, $15, that's really it. So that was really expected. Alan is still a very likable character, and like I said, for some sick and twisted reason, I really like Mr. Scratch. He just does some of the most insane stuff, but he always has a smile, and he always does it in a fun manner. I just couldn't help but love him. The story might not be as great as the first, but I still really enjoyed the trip. With that being said, let's talk about the sound. The sound in Alan Wake's American Nightmare, just like the first game, has such an eerie presence to it. The things you will hear in the environment, like little whispers that are coming from behind you and the tree branches moving around in the wind, or even like bushes or something, will always keep you on edge and makes you think that there's something around you at all times. It makes for a very frightening game environment. The voice acting in the game is also very well done, like the first game. The guy who plays Alan and Mr. Scratch does a wonderful job here, playing two of the same characters but with completely different personalities. There is the occasional cheesy or bland voice acting from the rest of the characters, but for the most part you will be hearing both Wake and Scratch most of the time, and they both sound great. Overall, the sound does a great job of making it sound like a game. So, good job. Anyway, let's talk about the graphics. Okay, now the graphics. It is obvious that the graphics engine is exactly the same as the original game. This is actually a really good thing because the original Alan Wake looked damn good. I mean, really damn good. The major complaint from the first was the characters' faces and how bad the animations could actually get. Luckily, the character models of this game are much more improved and the animations aren't as wonky as the first game. They still need to be worked on here and there, but for the most part, it's really good. The lighting effects are pretty much exactly the same as the first, which means they're some of the best out there, easily. Now, one huge problem with the graphics in this game, though, is that you never see an environment fully lit, which sure adds to the creepy factor, but you never get to see how vivid and nice the place you are in can look like, unlike the first game, which gave you plenty of moments like that. Besides that, the graphics are damn good and fantastic if you compare them to most of the other $15 downloadable games out there. Anyway, those are the graphics. They're really damn good. Let's go on to the gameplay. Alright, now the gameplay. Alan Wake was a very spooky game with a great atmosphere. Now the gameplay for the new Alan Wake decided to ditch most of the spookiness and make it more action oriented. I really enjoyed the action in the first game, so when I heard this, I wasn't really disappointed at all really, as long as they tightened up the shooting a bit. Luckily, that is what they did with American Nightmare. You still have to burn off the dark, which sounds really wrong, off the enemies, and then they are vulnerable to gunfire. That's pretty much how Alan Wake 1 was. It's exactly the same for this one. And they give you plenty of different weapons to use to dispatch your enemies this time around. You get a submachine gun, shotguns, rifles, revolvers, a freaking nail gun, and a crossbow, and plenty more which you actually unlock throughout the game by finding specific collectibles that are scattered throughout the environment. You also get a bunch of different tools to use to burn the dark off, which still sounds wrong, like your trusty flashlight, flares, a flare gun, and flash grenades. The gunplay is extremely tight and can get really intense when a bunch of enemies gang up on you. I'll just say it feels very satisfying to lay down the law on these dark, encrusted fucks. There you go, I said it. Bad language, I don't care, I said it, and I had to. The developers of this game, Remedy, did something that many games don't do nowadays, and that is add variety to the enemy types. Some of these enemy types include huge enemies with big ass weapons, small enemies that move really fast, some of them that will split into two if you actually point the light at them, ones that turn into birds, which I was like, whoa, that's kind of cool, and others that will actually throw bombs at you. There is a pretty hefty amount of things to kill, and because the gameplay is so much fun, you will want to kill them all. Now, my only major problem with the gameplay is that they make you do missions over and over again. They actually send you back in time and put you in the same environment that you were in like 30 minutes ago and make you do the same exact missions over again, which can be cool because sometimes something happens to a character before and now that whatever happened to that character can be undone, but it still feels very lazy that they make you do the same thing over and over again in the same environments as well, with only little variations here and there. Like sometimes they'll let you, skip one item and go get the other one instead or something. That's really it. They also add a brand new mode to the game called the Fight Till Dawn mode, which it's pretty much a horde style mode where you have to keep on fighting wave after wave of enemies, each getting of course tougher and tougher until time is up. Because of how tight and responsive the gunplay is, it's actually a lot of fun to play, but sadly it's only a one player mode, which makes sense because having multiple Alan Wakes on the screen would just look silly. And look what happened when we had one Alan Wake doppelganger. It didn't turn out so well. Mr. Scratch, you freaking insane son of a bitch. Anyway, overall, American Nightmare is a great addition to the Alan Wake series and easily proves that it's a series that should be played. It might be pretty short adventure, it's only about 3 to 4 hours long, but for the $15 you were paying, you were getting plenty for your dollar. I highly recommend it. Go check it out now. Thank you for listening to my review. Goodbye.